Just a few days ago, we received our very first Mario Kart game after a long hiatus of over a decade. These do not count, and I'm all for it. Or that's what I would have said if I owned the damn game. So because of Nintendo's anti-consumer practices, I will probably skip this entry until further notice. But anyways, let's not worry about that, because Mario Kart World reintroduced the franchise a mode that we hadn't seen in decades, Mission Mode. But you know what game also had Mission Mode? That's right. Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart Wii's missions, which are called competitions, were exclusive to the online mode, and 2 missions were released per month, and were made to be completed as quickly as possible to be shown on leaderboards, until the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection was cut in May of 2014. But the modern community resurrected the online mode, and thanks to Revolution, the Mario Kart Tournament Museum was created. This mod preserves every mission and gives it a number from 1 to 49, so each mission is structured via release date. If you still don't understand, Mission 1 is the oldest mission, Mission 49 is the most recently added mission. But anyways, let's just get going. 49, Mission 12. There's a big chance that any of these missions that change drastically compared to the regular track will land higher on the list. This is not one of them. There's 4 massive problems I've got with this mission. Its gimmick is extremely unimaginative. You can't use items, which is the whole point of Mario Kart. 2 is the fact that we're playing on one of the worst maps in the game due to its blandness and lack of source. 3, we're forced to use the worst type of vehicles in Mario Kart Wii, which are karts. They're slower, cannot drift as tightly, they have a much larger hitbox, and they're inferior to bikes in every single way possible. And 4, my man Funky cannot stretch his legs out. 48, Mission 43. Oh, and speak of the devil. Yep, these 2 missions are exactly the same. The only reason this variant is 1 spot higher is because you can use bikes. 47, Mission 18. There's a lot of these coin collecting missions. Most of them though do not do much to differentiate between each other. However, this one does, in the cruelest way mankind has ever known. Funky Stadium is such a titanically humongous battle course that it takes 4 light years to reach every singular patch of coins. Some coin placements in the air are incredibly annoying to collect, like the jump in the middle. Thankfully you can use mushrooms to boost from area to area, but that barely helps. The only reason this mission is not at the very bottom is because at least it brought something to the table, something unique to it. 46, Mission 21. This is another coin collecting mission in a battle track, but at least this one has some obstacles such as the oil spills in pipes. You're supposed to go in circles to collect all the coins, but there isn't much excitement to be had here, except for the very short-lived mushrooms spread around. At times this arena feels very cramped with the amount of obstacles layered all over the track, and something I found especially infuriating about this mission is the constant backing up you have to do if you missed a coin. 45, Mission 29. This is another coin mission, but even though we're collecting these in a racetrack, it's still enclosed into this small section by the beach, and you've got to collect all these coins while avoiding the cataquacks roaming around the beach, otherwise you'll get sent flying into the air. At least all the coins are stuck together, so it doesn't take that long if done correctly. 44, Mission 34. This is another type of mission where you can go through a track with slightly more enemies than usual. Here you've got to avoid piranha plants and chain chomps in the middle of the road. Every time I want to move, there's probably a 66% chance of me getting eaten. God, these things are annoying. The enemy placements are out of control here, and it's just a miserable experience to get through. 43, Mission 35. You start by jumping off this shortcut into the plaza section, but after that you just go around in circles through rings. This type of mission as we go along will increase drastically in quality, but this specific mission is just too short and limiting to be any higher than this. And to add insult to injury, I find this mission incredibly boring as well. 42, Mission 10. This coin mission is held in Mario Circuit 3, and you've got to drive through the entirety of this course with access to only 3 mushrooms. The track itself isn't anything special, so putting coins here just doesn't do much. It's a very stop and start mission, where a lot of the time you have to slow down significantly, and this drift combined with these pipes results in a thing I'd like to call not very fun. Oh, and did I mention that you can only use carts in this mission? Egregious, I know. 41, Mission 5. For being Coconut Mall, this mission is oddly anticlimactic. You must collect 50 coins in this sizable chunk of the mall, but the track layout is much more interesting and much less frustrating than the other coin collecting missions. At least it gives you the decency to grab a large chunk of coins in a comparatively small area, instead of plopping you in a massive arena with no care or thought. 40, Mission 2. This is the first gate mission, but here you must go through 10 gates in GBA Battle Course 3. As this is the very first gate challenge, all gates are located on flat ground and are all spread far apart of each other, but that's to be expected. Now in these types of missions, a mini-map will help you where to go, but this mission is still very boring due to its length and lack of obstacles to keep you entertained. 39. Mission 47. Mario Circuit is a very bland and unoriginal map in the game, so any changes given to it are fine in my opinion. The objective of this mission is to complete all 3 laps while competing against each other, plus avoiding several chomps running around in the middle of the racetrack. It's adequate. 38. Mission 1.
Good news. We can finally be bees. This isn't your world, but we can be bees.
It's the exact same mission as the previous entry. However, in Mission 1 you can actually use bikes, therefore it's better. 37. Mission 6. Making battle tracks into racetracks is a really cool idea, but say, do you remember Baby Park? Well, this mission acts like a baby park of sorts, because you must go around a cramped circle filled with item boxes. Most missions have the default 3-lap system. This one, however, has 5. You can infinitely drift if you wanted to, which not only gives you some street cred, but is also a really fun way to see how long you can maintain a drift before releasing it. And having this mission take place in Twilight House gives it some style points too, but this mission is way too short for its own good. 36. Mission 46. It seems that some boxes have fallen into Delfino Plaza, and it's the player's duty to complete 3 laps and finish the time trial. And there's some Goombas there too. But if you're using inside drifting bikes, it's really satisfying to dodge the obstacles on the road. However, not many changes aside from blocking some alternate paths have been made, making this mission one of the more unmemorable ones. 35. Mission 24. Here's another race with enemies. You must complete 3 laps in Peach Gardens and avoid the plentiful amount of chain chomps and Monty Moles. Some chain chomps have some item boxes that act as their leash, which you can grab to obtain mushrooms, which you can use for some grass cuts. It's not all too different from regular old Peach Gardens, unfortunately, but it could have been worse. I really wish, however, this track could have been driven around backwards like an 8 Deluxe. That could have been a top 10 mission right there. 34. Mission 45. If you enjoy racing on Moonview Highway but thought, wow, this track is great, but what if it was more chaotic than it already is? Well, you're a bit sick in the head. The vehicles in this track drive exclusively towards you. It's a simple change, but it completely changes the way you play. And something that I've always wondered is that this track gimmick is very reminiscent of Toad's Turnpike in Mario Kart 64, where the traffic would drive towards you, although that could be unintentional. 33. Mission 20. The player must drive a GBA Bowser Castle 3 and go through 30 rings sparsed all over the track. I like the fact that you must diverge to other paths in this part where you must jump over the lava, and even here where you have to trick into the ramp and go through the airborne ring. But this is also a kart exclusive mission, which isn't great, but I don't mind it too much in this case. This track is okay in the base game, and the same could be said about this mission too. 32. Mission 41. This is a race against other CPUs in Sherbet Land, but the penguins have multiplied and are now really coordinated well and are out for blood. Avoid the penguins at all costs. And we've got some penguins too in the cave as well as boxes to avoid. But as it is, it's okay. But it's not like I'm clamouring to play this track over and over again. 31. Mission 37. This has the same concept as the Mario Circuit mission from a couple of spots ago. There's rolling chain chomps, which are really reminiscent of N64 Rainbow Road, which is a really surprising thing to point out, as N64 Rainbow Road didn't make its comeback until Mario Kart 8, so that's cool I guess. This mission is downright sadistic, and some of these deaths are so cheap, I had to do a double take on them. You call this a skill issue? I call this enemy placement, but I'll give it this: it's memorable. 30. Mission 25. This mission is simple. Those bomb cars from Moonview Highway have invaded Luigi Circuit, and we've got to race through it. Now, if you've got eyes, I think you'll realise that this isn't how Luigi Circuit usually looks. That's because we're racing in what will normally be the version of Luigi Circuit that's only viewable in the credits. It's a regular race, but goddamn, that's a pretty cool detail. But to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the incredibly cool map this mission takes place in, it probably would have landed in a way worse spot. So I guess this mission got lucky in that regard. 29. Mission 9. This is another race with bomb cars, but this time it takes place in a battle stage. This one is a time trial in which several bombs are surrounding the stage, and the player must complete 3 laps. The item boxes are programmed to only give you normal and mega mushrooms, as well as stars. Blowing up the bomb cars without getting yourself killed is really fun, and if you use the latter two, you can drive freely through the bombs without flying in the air, which is great. I like that addition. 28. Mission 19. For this mission, you've got to navigate through a maze-like course in Block Plaza, but at first glance it looks like someone spammed assets like crazy. You've got Goombas, spilt oil, gates, pipes, and by the end of the 3rd lap, some structures will fall underground. Some paths feel very strange to go through, but I think that was the point of this mission. It's a little bit confusing. No, in fact, it's very confusing, but by the end you kind of accept it for what it is. A very strange mission, but with a strangely unique design. And it's always amusing having full access to any vehicle in a battle stage, as you can't do that in the regular game for some reason. That's always a plus. 27. Mission 14. I may slander pretty hard on most circuit tracks, but this mission is probably better than its normal version, dare I say. There's more oil spills and enemies, but the fun part about this is that the only item you can use are golden mushrooms, which are hella fun to use in this track. Due to the amount of area it lets you explore freely without slowing down. I like messing around in this hill and gaining illegal heights. It's good stuff. The enemies are a bit irrelevant, but they don't detract anything by any means. 26. Mission 42. This is the first enemy score mission in this list, and the premise of these are quite simple. Take down a specific amount of enemies. Here in Mario Circuit you must take down 16 Goombas with green shells, and stars too. This mission is a little worse due to the track's bland nature, and the fact that we're only allowed to drive on carts, so that's a bit of a disappointment. But it does feel quite thrilling when you snipe a Goomba and get a little boost off of him. I like that detail. It makes the mission a tiny bit more engaging, but some of these hitboxes are whacked out. I mean, take a look at this. I mean, what is this? 25. Mission 13. Here we've got to collect some coins in this spot in Maple Treeway. Every coin is located inside a pile of leaves, which can thankfully be located thanks to the minimap. This mission is a breeze, but also a good way to warm up for the next heavy hitters. The mission itself is fun, as the wigglers aren't too distracting, but you still have to keep an eye on them. This mission utilizes a very minor gimmick, which was exclusively featured here, and uses it to create a mission, and execute it in a clever way. 24. Mission 7. This is actually the first boss fight in the list. It's a race against Donkey and Diddy Kong in DK Jungle Parkway, but these two are relentless. These two maniacs have robbed the nearest Asda, and now they're using these bananas as landmines in order to win the race. The race itself is a 1v2, which is very rare to see in a Mario Kart game, but I also like the stupidity that ensues, because by the time we reach the third lap, there's so many banana peels all over the track that you just can't help but to laugh about it. I like that we've got triple green shells, which can be used in this bridge for significant trolling. This mission is so stupid. 23. Mission 33. This mission takes place in Cookie Land, and it has been turned into a racetrack with fences and some paths, but some reason. You must beat all 4 babies in a race, and you've got to complete 5 laps. This is one of the harder missions to get first place in. Because of Cookie Land's very skinny structure, any items used will affect any player at any moment, and the speeds in this track have been amped to the limit, which increases the hecticness of it all a whole lot more. I'd say that this is the point in which every mission from now on is at the very least great. 22. Mission 22. This was not planned. This is another versus race, but this time it's against Dry Bowser. The last fight was awesome, but you could say that DK and Diddy were spamming an already established item in the game. I didn't mind that too much, but here, Dry Bowser shoots fireballs, which I do not remember recalling this happened in a regular race. This is such a cool thing to add, just for fun. Combining both N64 Bowser's Castle difficulty and Dry Bowser's shots makes this mission very memorable. There was also item boxes all over the track, and I love using the star so he can get a taste of his own medicine, and smacking his cranium open. 21. Mission 48. It's literally the exact same mission as the previous one, but you can use bikes, so it automatically makes it better. 20. Mission 3. Now here's a real boss fight. There aren't that many true bosses in this game, and out of the 4 real fights, 3 of them are just top men. These missions take place in Galaxy Coliseum, which is a mission mode exclusive arena, which is sadly inaccessible without hacking the game nowadays. You need to knock down the top men from the arena in 3 rounds. In the first 2 rounds, you just need to knock 1 enemy at a time, but in the final round you'll need to knock down 2 at the same time, and to do this you need access to several item boxes, all containing triple mushrooms, so you can mushroom your way to victory. This mission is a bit easy, but that's to be expected, as it's only the 3rd mission, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. 19. Mission 16. I like how before the race begins, you're already at the track's highest point, and immediately descend the mountain without taking the cannon. This track has got some very fun obstacles and jumps already, so giving it a ring mission, although being a bit of a lazy decision, makes perfect sense. I like the placement of each ring, as you've got to take some weird routes in order to succeed, and jumping in this game in general feels incredibly fun, unlike 7 and 8, and maybe World. I can't say much about it because I haven't played the game yet. 18. Mission 23. This is almost equal in quality to the last ring mission. Both gate placements are positioned in hard to reach locations in the air, and are both trick-centric courses, but they are pretty interchangeable. I wouldn't blame you at all if you think that the previous mission was slightly better. 17. Mission 39. This is definitely the best battle track stage in the game, and making a time trial out of it just makes perfect sense. You must lap around the track 3 times, but there's a fence in the middle of the track, so what you've got to do is go inside the sewer system and ascend all the way to the roof, and then you jump off the roof. Though I don't know why they left so much dead space at the top. It seems a little strange, and I did bonk myself twice in this piece of bridge, so take that for what you will. The Funky Stadium mission could have done something like this, but regardless, this mission is gas. 16. Mission 36. Here in Dry Ruins, you must race 11 other players, but the only item that spawns are mushrooms. I already enjoy this type of mission, as you can easily take huge shortcuts consistently, but the strawberry on top of that beautiful bodacious cake is that this is the most openly designed track in the game, so you can go ham on what shortcuts you want to take. You must line up your jump in a way that won't make you get hit by one of these pokies. It's not all too different from normal Dry Ruins, but this mission is quite enjoyable. 15. Mission 32. This is basically a Kaizo Bowser's Castle. Well, maybe I wouldn't go that far. This mission adds bats, more thwomps, more fire bars, more lava geysers, and the most dangerous of them all, boxes. It really tests your skills, and there isn't many missions similar to it. If this was the actual track, I'd have some problems, but as a mission, it's cool. 14. Mission 8. There's not many of these left, I swear. Here in Cooper Cape, you need to go across 25 gates, and some of these gate placements are really fun to reach due to the track's design. Some of them are located in the air next to ramps and half pipes, and others are hidden behind the spinning shock devices in the glass tube segment, giving the player an adrenaline boost half the time, and even more so when you're in the rushing water. I also like this jump over here, as it's somewhat hidden but satisfying to take. It's just a finely crafted wing mission in one of my favourite tracks in the game. 13. Mission 40. Here you mostly do the exact same as the last mission, jumping over hoops mid-air, trying to avoid getting hit by the boulders, and all that fun stuff. But as one final surprise, there are mushrooms to jump on and gates to go across in the air, where the bridge would normally be. This makes this mission ever so slightly better than Cooper Cape's mission in my opinion, but both are fantastic missions in their own right. 12. Mission 38. We haven't had one of these in a very long time. Here you must kill 10 pokies in desert hills with shells and stars, but I do have to mention that this mission could have been a tiny bit better if A, this mission took place in Dry Ruins, as it's a way better map, and B, if we were only given stars throughout the entire map. But now I'm just really nitpicking. Overall, it's a really solid mission. 11. Mission 26. This is the best coin mission by a landslide. You must collect 100 coins in Chain Chomp Roulette, and every single coin is in the middle of the map, and you're at risk of getting flattened by the rolling chomp, except you're not, because you can use mega mushrooms, and at that point, rather than being the prey, you become the predator, and it's really satisfying watching the coin counter go up exponentially fast. And this is one of the very few missions where taking a car is the optimal strategy. I should know, because I didn't use one, but even then, this mission is still fantastic. 10. Mission 31. We must blast 30 crabs, but we've got options. Either you take shells, stars, or bombs. I like the pros and cons all these items bring to the table. Shells are good for snipes, but don't hit other targets very well. Stars could potentially be the best, as you can ram into several crabs at a time, as well as bagging other items at the same time, but they're the rarest items out of the 3, and the bombs are useful for spread kills. It's a really strategic mission, and that's why I like it. 9. Mission 30. This mission has a simple gimmick. Added bouncy mushrooms to the edges of the track. I like this addition quite a lot actually. It improves a subpar track at best, and modifies it into a very wacky jump fest. 8. Mission 49. This is the final mission in the game, but even though it's a clear carbon copy of the third mission, structurally and conceptually, fighting against it, it's a completely different beast. These 6 spiky top men have the correct level of difficulty, and I stand corrected because... 7. Mission 28. It's literally the same mission as the previous one, except near the end the stage's circumference starts to crumble apart, falls down into the vacuum of space, which is pretty interesting to say the least. 6. Mission 4. This is the final type of mission I have yet to introduce. Some tracks were modified in this mode to be able to be played backwards, which is a concept brought from Mario Kart DS, and it's really cool seeing how the position of each bouncy mushroom was changed to accommodate this style of mission. I mean, what else is there to say? Driving backwards is one of the best challenges you could do in a Mario Kart game, and seeing Nintendo do this in an official Mario Kart just fills me with joy and whimsy. 5. Mission 27. If any mission can create an even better and more seamless experience than the original track could, then I think that's a good reason to consider this mission as one of the greatest. And that's definitely the case here. I was never the biggest fan of Grumble Volcano, but it's honestly bizarre seeing this track being used for one of these reverse missions, as I will call them from now on. All the jumps are fun to pull, giving the player a sense of adventure. Granted, it kind of loses a bit of steam in the second half. That first half is the stuff of gods. And I'm also totally fine by the fact that we can only use karts in this mission, as this track was tailor-made for karts. 4. Mission 15. Oh, yes! My boy Wiggler, he's back. Not as a playable character, but as a boss race in Wario's Gold Mine, which is an absolute whack job of a course to choose for such a huge boss. The roller coaster feeling that this track exudes is at full force, and the player must maneuver around Wiggler in order to not get thrown off course. If you were to fall, he actually waits for you. Ah, what a swell guy. He may be playable now, but these tricks do not compare to these. This is some Tony Hawk type shit. However, when you're in the third lap, he becomes angry and runs like he just drank 80 cans of Red Bull. It's a really fun mission and a worthy successor to the DS version of this same fight. I'd go even further and say that this mission is better than the boss fight in Mario Kart DS. 3. Mission 44. The instructions could not be clear enough. You bounce in a circle 3 times until you're done. This is probably the most iconic mission from the competition mode. It's not complex in the slightest, but this is one of the coolest missions, and seeing Peach Beach from a distance is also a nice detail too. 2. Mission 17. This is the final reverse track. We're in the GOAT that is Toad's factory. It was a phenomenal track there, and it's a phenomenal mission here. A major reason for this track being so high as it is because unless you're a robot, this track looks impossible to beat backwards normally, but here Nintendo gave us a boost ramp, so we can jump directly into the engine room, which is a really great way to start things off. And another peculiar aspect of this mission is that the red conveyor belts are the ones that make you go faster this time, and the other challenging segment that this track provides is the port section. It spawns more ramps, which you can trick off of. This is one of my favourite missions to play due to its gimmick and the track choice. But then there's 1. Mission 11. This is the only other unique boss fight in the game, but it's a really great boss fight. And some people have said that this battle stage was more suited for a boss fight, which is true because it is. This Pokey attacks you by detaching its body parts. The way you defeat it is by throwing bombs until his head remains, and then you throw a bomb to his head. You do this 3 times, and then you'll reach the second phase, where he leaves the center of the stage, and you have to throw one final bomb at him to finish him off. This mission is not only the most epic, but is gameplay wise the most unique challenge in the game, because nowhere in the base game was this ever present or programmed, and because it introduced something so epic for Mario Kart standards, it gets awarded as the best mission in all of Mario Kart Wii. But anyways, I'm head out.